Hey, hello in GM everyone. I'm Luke, Developer Relations here at Bundler, and this is a video on our SDK for Node.js. In this video, we're going to cover installing our SDK, connecting to a node, funding a node, both upfront funding and lazy funding. We're going to cover uploading a file, uploading a folder, and even uploading an entire static website. Lots of cool stuff's going to be happening. But before we dive in, a little bit of housekeeping stuff. One, there are chapter markers down here somewhere, and there are also time codes in the description. It's going to make it really easy for you to skip around, find the information you want. There are subtitles. To turn them on, you click over down here somewhere. They're not the auto-generated ones, but they're actually ones I wrote myself, which means they're accurate. And over time, we're going to be layering in subtitles for different languages. So if you don't see your language there now, leave us a comment in the description. Most importantly, if you have any questions, any problems, anything that just ain't working for you, hop on over to our Discord, also linked in the description, and there'll be someone there to help you out. The code for this video is in our GitHub, which of course is linked in the description. All right, so before we dive in, really quickly, what is Bundler? Bundler is a data layer for the internet. Through decentralized consensus, we're able to prove where data originated, and also that it hasn't been tampered with, hasn't changed along the way at all. We're built on top of Arweave, which makes us censorship resistant and permanent. You'll know that once a file's been uploaded, once data's been uploaded, it ain't going anywhere. We are performant, we are seamless, and we are highly scalable. We make it very easy to pay once and have your data available forever. When you work with Bundler, you start by getting a reference to a Bundler object, and that in turn links to a Bundler node. Now once you're set up, you can fund the node, or you can withdraw excess funds. We make it very easy to fund by accepting 14 different tokens. Once a node is funded, you can upload any binary data, you can upload a single file, and with one line of code, you can upload an entire folder of files. You pour a file into Arweave and instantly get back a transaction ID. Then that transaction ID combines to form an URL that you can use to download the file immediately. All right, cool. Let's code. Beautiful. Starting over here in VS Code, but you know, any code editor works. And let's see, new file. And let's just go bundler sdk.js, make it easy. Save it here, I've already set up a folder. Okay, cool. Images folder, you know what, I'll talk about that in a second. We got some cool stuff that's gonna happen in this video. And you know what, let's make this easy. I'm gonna open up a new terminal here. Oops, close out of this one. And I'll just do all the terminal stuff right here. This is a Node.js project. We don't need to switch to the browser too much. And yeah, we don't need to switch to a different terminal. Let's do it all right here. Make it nice and easy, huh? npm, oops, gnome, npm, init-y, cool. And you know what? We're going to use ES6 style imports, which means we got to jump into the package JSON and change this here. Type is module cool. Okay, hide the browser, and yeah, let's install our dependencies. npm install at bundler.network/client, and we're also going to install .env so we can import some environment variables. Right, give that a sec. Okay, so one thing, if you're going to do this tutorial, you need to have MetaMask installed first, and you should have some Mumbai Matic DevNet tokens, which are free to get from the faucet. The reason you need the tokens is when you work with Bundler, you pay once and then your uploads are there forever. When working with our DevNet, you can use DevNet tokens. If you don't know what MetaMask is, we've got a video linked down below that teaches you, takes you by the hand, shows you how to set it all up. But assuming you know what to do, all you've got to do is export your private key, and we're going to throw that into a .env file. .env, and let's go here. Private key equals. Now, of course, never share your private key with anybody, which is why mine's blurred out here. And you know what? Good practice always when you create a .env file is to create a gitignore file. On the off chance you do put this code in GitHub,
So there is no way at all your .env will get uploaded. It's just really good practice. If you create that .env file, make sure you've got a .gitignore file too. All right, now for the fun part. Let's write some code. All right, hide the browser. So main import is just import bundler from, look at that, does it for me automatically. When you're working in the browser, use the web bundler class. When you're working with Node.js, use the bundler class. All right, cool, easy, right? And we're gonna import fs2. We use fs to get the size of files. And the reason we need to get the size of files is so we can get the exact upload cost. I'll talk about that in a second, but let's set up the import first. All right, beautiful, and also import .env from .env, cool. And with .env, you need to run this too, .env.config, right. And what I'm gonna do for this tutorial is just create async, just one main function here, and we'll throw all our code into it. Main, and then call it main. Right, that's our structure. Beautiful, easy, huh? All right, remember from the animation at the beginning, first thing you do when working with Bundler, you set up a reference to a Bundler object, which in turn points to a Bundler node. Now, normally when working with Bundler, we've got node 1 and node 2. With node 1 and node 2, you use real tokens, and with our DevNet, you use DevNet tokens. And any are fine. You can use Mumbai Matic, you can use ETH Gurley. Any of these are fine, but we'll use Matic. Okay, so how does that work? Const bundler equals new bundler.default. All right, first you pass in the URL, https://devnet.bundler.network. You also pass in the name of the token you're using. Matic, but of course you could also type in Ethereum, Solana, any of the 14 tokens we support you can put in right here. And then you pass in your private key. Now since I've set up a .env file, I've imported the .env package, what I can do here is type in process.env.private key, right? So private key here matches with private key here. Make sure they're spelled the same, underscored the same. All right, back to this. Okay, a couple of little simple things here. One, when working with JavaScript and ES-style imports, this is the way you create a new bundler object. When working with TypeScript, it's slightly different. You leave this off. You know what, let me just put them both here so you can see it super easy. TypeScript on the top, JavaScript on the bottom. I want to make this video accessible to the most number of people, so we're just going to go with this JavaScript version. These are the required parameters. We also support a third optional parameter, which is an RPC URL. With Node 1 and Node 2, you don't need to provide this, but when you're working with the DevNet, it is required. So we can go here, PRO provider URL. All right, cool, spelled that right. And that's it, that's all you need to do. It's one line of code to set up a reference to a bundler class, link to a bundler node. What we're gonna do here, let's console log this out, make sure it works. Console.log, okay. Connect to node, bundler SDK.js. Whew. Easy, right? Nice and easy. Okay. Now, once you've connected to a node, is fund that node. So you upload your specified token to pay for uploads. And there are two ways you can do it. Upfront funding, where you send over a bunch of tokens first and then use that to pay for all your uploads, or lazy funding, where you pay per upload. Let's look at how upfront uploading works first. Const, let's call it fund transaction equals, watch how easy this is, await bundler.fund. That's it. The argument you pass in is the amount of tokens you want to use when funding. Now I'm going to pass in one Mumbai Matic. Okay, working with the Bundler SDK and JavaScript, we use atomic units to better represent large floating point numbers, which means that one Mumbai Matic ends up being 1 with 18 zeros after it. In JavaScript, you can write that this way. Let's talk about why that is. Floating point math, decimal math in JavaScript with large decimals isn't always completely accurate, which is why we don't use decimals, we don't use floating point numbers when working with blockchains. The Matic token supports 18 decimals. So really 1 Matic is the same as 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 zeros after it. Now, because we don't use floating point numbers, we don't use decimal numbers, that ends up being represented this way, which, you know, if you remember from high school, can be written also 1E18. I could take this same number here, put it in here, but, you know, that's hard to read. All right, cool. Let's console log this. Console.log. Oops. Fund successful. Amount funded equals boop, and fund tx dot quantity. All right, cool. Let's go down, clear, and run. All right, cool. There we go. So, well, how about this? Okay, so we get a transaction confirmation back, but how do we actually check that it's funded? Let's go get loaded balance. So const balance equals await bundler.get loaded balance. That will get the amount of money that our account has loaded onto the node. I'm gonna comment this out so that we don't keep funding over and over again, and console log this out. Console.log account funded balance equals balance to string. Now yours should come back as 1, but mine might be slightly higher. I forget. I think I may have funded some funds already. Okay, again, clear. And Bundler SDK. Let's run it. Yeah, amount funded is 35033. Okay, remember what we said about atomic units? This is really 3.5 Matic. Okay, but how do we convert it, make it a bit easier to read? We've got a utility for that. There we go. Const decimal balance equals, we don't need to await this. Bundler.utils.unit converter. And we pass in balance. All right, now let's console log that. How about we just copy and paste this down? Count funded, decimal balance equals, decimal balance to string. All right, again, clear, make this easy to read. Oops, there we go, run it again. Beautiful, okay, 3.5 Matic, which, you know, may not seem like a lot of money, but it goes really, really far. Uploads are affordable. Okay, cool. We have funded an account. We know how to check our balance. Now for the fun part, let's go ahead and upload an image. Remember that images folder I mentioned? Let's go back to it over here. Ignore this index for now. Got all these cute little llama pictures. Developed them from Stable Diffusion. I think that's my favorite. Or maybe that, I don't know. Anyway, they're from Stable Diffusion. Cool, and let's upload one of them. So go back here, wait to see how easy this is. Let's go this way. Make it const path to file equals, for me it is ./images/llama. Let's do llama 3, my favorite one. .png, and let's go const upload transaction equals await bundler.upload file path to file. Cool. That's all you got to do. You pass in the path to the file, you call one line of code, and it gets uploaded to the permaweb, and it's there forever. Okay, console.log, and we can go file uploaded URL equals, and it goes like this. You start with https://rweave.net/ and to that you add the transaction ID from here. So we can do it this way. Boop. Upload transaction.id. All right. Format that. Account balance, we don't need to keep printing this, right? Just comment that out. Save that. Clear. Bundler SDK. Let's run it. File uploaded. All right, cool. Here, so everything after rweave.net is our transaction ID. Those two combine together to become the file URL. And remember how I said this stuff was instantaneous? You don't need to wait for confirmations. You don't need to wait for anything. Just watch. Boom. Milliseconds after your file is uploaded, it's there, it's ready for you to use. Whether it's an image, whether it's audio, whether it's some sort of game data, it's there for you to use instantly. No waiting. So cool. Okay. Now, you can upload a single file with one line of code. You can also upload an entire folder with one line of code, right? Like it could be you're doing an NFT drop, you've got 50 NFTs, 500 NFTs, 10,000 NFTs, one line of code, you upload them all. Far out, huh? Okay. Const path to, this time folder, equals, oops, I'm a double quote fanned, / just the folder. Now, what do you think it is? Upload file is upload file, upload folder, const, call it the same, upload tx equals, oh wait, bundler.upload folder, right? And we just pass path to folder. Cool. Yeah, we don't need to do this again. Comment this out. Okay, console.log. Folder uploaded manifest ID equals upload tx dot id. All right, cool. Ready? Let's run this. Node bundler SDK. All right, so this is a little bit different. When you upload a folder, what you get back is a manifest ID. Also, if we go into our file browser here, you notice there's some new files written out to my local file system. Images manifest.json, images manifest.csv. The data inside is the same. Let's go with the JSON version and save it so it gets pretty. Inside the manifest are the transaction IDs for each file that was uploaded. So again, let's pick a different llama this time. Let's go llama 1. You can copy this transaction ID here, go over to our browser, https://rweave.net/transaction ID, boop, and it loads. One thing that's interesting though is you can also use the manifest ID combined with the original file name. So here's our manifest ID, right? Copy that, https://rweave.net/manifest ID, and again, that's just to be totally clear, pick one of these file names. How about llama1.png? Rename, copy that, and we go over here at the end. Boop. Okay, so again, you can see it's manifest ID /file name, and it loads also. Now this is going to lead to something really, really cool. Okay, first I'm going to delete these things. Okay, delete all this. Now, you may have noticed, eagle eye observers, that there's also an index file here and a styles.css file. Now, the index, the web design here isn't anything, groundbreaking, but what it is representative of a typical static site design. In a typical static website, you have an index page, you have a styles page, and you've got some images, right? Okay, let's look at that website for a second. Here's the website. Nothing much to it, but you can imagine a much bigger static website, a corporate website, same structure. Now, watch this. This is where stuff gets so cool. So, all right, let's hide this. And also watch what happens. You're gonna love this. What we can do is we can pass in an optional parameter, bundle to upload folder, index file equals, we pass in the name of the index file, index.html, right? So, the index file contains all our images, contains our CSS. All of the links are relative links, not absolute links. All right, now watch what happens. Wait to see this. This is so cool. Node bundler SDK.js. Now, watch this. Okay, this time we take our manifest ID, copy it. Now here's the site running off my local hard drive. All right, let's create a new tab, https, s/rv.net/manifest ID. Watch what happens. This is so cool. Boom! The same exact website, this time served from the PermaWeb. This website cannot be deleted. It cannot be censored. It cannot go anywhere. It will last forever. Even when you're not walking this earth anymore, the website will be there. Rock and roll, beautiful. That's the main features of the Bundler SDK. One thing I want to do before we go is just show you how to do lazy uploads. How do you get the cost to upload one file? Const again, path to file equals /images/llama, how about llama2.png, right? And then we can go here, const, and we could just destructure this right away. Const size equals await fs dot promises dot stat dot path to file. Oops. Coast const. Okay, cool. Equals path to file. And then once we have that size, which is the size in bytes of the file, we can pass that to Bundler to get the price. Const price equals await Bundler get price size. Right, okay. And again, it's going to come in atomic units. You remember how to do this from above. How about price converted equals Bundler utils unit converter. Oops. And we pass in the size. Yeah. Size. Okay, cool. Console.log cost to upload size bytes is price converted to string. Beautiful. All right, run this last thing, and we're done. Oh, I see what I did wrong. There we go. I thought that looked wrong. All right, unit converted. There we go. Let's try this again. Run this. All right, that makes much more sense. Const upload. This number of bytes is 0.001 cents. Cheap, huh?
All right, cool. Beautiful, everyone. Congratulations on making it through the tutorial. If you've made it this far, you know how to install our SDK, how to fund a node, how to upload a file, a folder, even an entire static website. Now remember, if something just wasn't working for you or you couldn't really figure it out, hop on over to the Discord. We're there, we'll help you. Also, if you want to see other videos about other content, things that haven't been covered here, please leave a comment down below. We're going to make them for you. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk soon, and LFB. Bye-bye.